Francisco, the theater town. It's become the place where producers bring their shows for pre-Broadway tryouts. And certainly the biggest one in years is Lestat. It's based on the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles and has music by Elton John with lyrics by Bernie Taupin. They've only known hits. It's in previews right now, and during a rehearsal break, I sat down with actor Hugh Panaro, who plays the title role of Lestat. He made his Broadway debut in Les Miserables and has been starring as the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. Now, of course, he's the focus of this new show. So here we are with Hugh Panaro. You know, you're kind of, I think if you're doing this, you did Phantom, you've done Les Mis, you're sort of in a Gothic period yourself, aren't you?
If it's not a French period piece, I don't do it. No.
That just happens to be the luck of the draw, right? I suppose.
You know what? I don't know. It's interesting because I feel that a lot of times people will put you in a category, and I know for a long time it seems like I could not ever get out of a French tuxedo singing, beautiful songs. But this is actually a nice departure. The good thing is we span so many decades, literally. We start in present day and we go back in time to the 1700s, and then we go into the 1800s. Little by little we make our way back to current day. So I get to wear the most amazing period clothes, but then I get this really fine Prada suit, which I may just steal.
And you're singing the music that we've not heard yet,
right,
by Elton and Bernie. And what is it like? What's doing world premieres of?
At the risk of sounding, like a 14-year-old, it's pretty awesome. And to have living legends in a room talking to you, first of all.
Yeah.
You don't have to call them sir or anything. And to have them come up to you with brand new lyrics that you've never heard before. You literally, in one song I was doing, they rearranged a bit of the structure. So what it meant for the scene was that a certain set of lyrics might have to be changed. Mm-hmm. And within 10 minutes, Bernie Taupin came up with these beautiful new lyrics. Like that he wrote in 10 minutes. And they were, if anything, they were more beautiful than the first set. And I think, like all that, you want to please the parents. I grew up Catholic, so it's you want to please everybody. But you want to make sure that Elton and Bernie, that their vision is being fulfilled. And one of the nicest things that I've been told since I started this was that back in my audition when I sang, it's a beautiful ballad in Act 2 called Sail Me Away. And I had never really worked on it. I just came in and went with my gut and sang it how I felt it should be done. And luckily, maybe it's why I got the job, but Bernie said that was exactly the way that when he wrote it, that's exactly what he was envisioning. So we connected without even talking about it, which when you do that, that's just amazing.
Yes. So you grew up Catholic, and here you are playing a vampire.
I know.
Are you fighting yourself every night at this point?
Do you know what I love about the character of Lestat is that he is respectful, but he also is the first one to debunk false morality and fake hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. Religious hypocrisy. What I love about the character, and I think what all the fans love about the character because of how well crafted the books are, and the musical is as well, is he is a vampire who has somehow maintained a soul and a sense of morality. And even though this is the crux of his dilemma is how do you survive? In order to survive, you do have to kill. And I'm not going to give it away, but by the end of the play, that is how he has come to make peace with this new immortal life that he has been granted.
You've got built-in fans, obviously, of the book. The audience is going to be here, and you've got built-in fans with Elton and Bernie's music. Yeah. But for people who maybe aren't familiar with the books, you're dealing with killing people and blood-sucking and all that, and some people might be put off a little bit by that.
Well, I think what I would say to that is, and I'm stealing a line from Bernie Taupin now, in a little press blurb that we did, Bernie described this as a non-vampire musical, and that sounds funny, but it is so on the money. I think people will be pleasantly surprised. There's not gory blood. There's not horrible, fake-looking fangs. It is much more, again, in homage to the books. It is very sensual, at times sexual, but strongly sensual. And the allure of the vampire is, I go back to, I just remember the Frank Langella Dracula was one of my favorite versions because it was just beautiful to look at, and the actors were very sensual, and the scenes between Mina and Lucy and Frank Langella as Dracula, it wasn't about gore, it was about sex appeal. And I think this is much more along, it's not gothic and gory, it is the two S's, sensual and sexual and sophisticated. It's definitely not, with respect to anything else that's been done, it's not a vampire-y Dance of the Vampires Dracula type of production. Or to be honest, I don't know that I would want to be here, and I'm thrilled to be here because it is so unique.
World premiere. It's a work that nobody's ever seen before. New words that have been written, new music that's been written. How much responsibility do you feel on your shoulders as the man?
That's a great question. It's interesting. I am on stage from prologue to epilogue, and I literally I'm in every scene. Sometimes I change my clothing on stage, or another character, for instance, Gabrielle dresses me at one point as my mother, or I have a lightning fast change. And with that does come an awful lot of responsibility. But I am so consumed right now with the work of learning, making sure I know all my lines, and making sure that the songs are being, again, truthfully executed to make our creative team happy. And I haven't had time, I know that sounds crazy, I haven't had the time to feel pressure. As an actor, we're always just trying to do the best work that we can do. And I've had small parts, I've had medium-sized parts. Playing the Phantom was certainly a lot of responsibility, but that was different because the Phantom really isn't on stage as much as you think, because a lot of time you hear my voice, but it's disembodied. This time, every time you hear my voice, I'm on stage. So maybe I'm absolutely crazy or just the biggest ham, but I love the fact that I am on stage all night. A lot of times an actor sits backstage writing out, Christmas card lists and, on their computer, or God forbid watching television. And, there's time to kill. I don't have that. I get here and I think the show will just whip by for me because I literally am going from beginning to end. And I have amazing co-workers, and some of them exist only in Act 1, and then some only exist in Act 2, because again, you're spanning decades, so people that's what's so wonderful. People that come into Lestat's life pass away or leave him, and then he moves on to the next decade of chosen family, and then they pass or leave him. So that is a big theme in the show, is how does a vampire navigate his way through the passage of time without going insane.
That's actor Hugh Panaro, starring as Lestat in the pre-Broadway world premiere engagement of the new musical, currently in previews at the Curran Theater in San Francisco.